welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okuru. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has declared Godwin Obaseki winner of the 2016 Edo State governorship election. Obaseki is the candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress. He polled a total of 319,483 votes to defeat his closest opponent, Osage Eze-Iyam, who amassed a total of 263,173 votes. The difference between both candidates is 66,310 votes. The state has a total of 18 local governments, and the winner is expected to have claimed the majority of the vote in 2/3 of the local government areas. APC won in 13 local government areas, while PDP won in 5 local government areas. There were a total of 582,899 votes, while the 30,945 votes were rejected by INEC. 19 candidates contested in the election, and observers have described the election as largely peaceful. Meanwhile, the PDP candidate in the election, Eze-Iyam, has described the result as a rape on democracy. Eze-Iyam said his party monitored the election through its agents across the state. The PDP candidate alleged that inducement of voters and collaboration with INEC and the state government to doctor the results in favor of the ruling All Progressives Congress marred the elections. The People's Democratic Party has accused the ruling All Progressives Congress of plotting to overturn its victory in Edo State. Dayo Adeyeye, a spokesman for the party, in a statement said, "From the results on the field, it was clear that Osage Eze-Iyam, the PDP candidate, had attained a near unassailable lead in the election." The party, however, urged members and supporters in the state to continue keeping the faith of the party. A Nigerian militant group on Thursday claimed an attack on a crude oil pipeline operated by state oil firm NNPC in the restive Niger Delta region. The Niger Delta Greenland Justice Bandit group said it had blown up the pipeline in Delta State. Recurring attacks on oil and gas facilities by militants in the Niger Delta region has cut the country's crude oil production, which stood at 2.2 million barrels per day at the start of the year, to around 700,000 barrels per day. The attacks have also slashed output at a time when Nigeria is grappling with low global crude oil prices, which have hammered government revenues, weakening the naira currency and pushing up inflation to nearly 11-year lows. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has solicited the help of traditional rulers to secure and protect national oil and gas facilities in their domain. The NNPC Group Managing Director Mike Kanti Baru made this appeal during a courtesy visit to the Oba of Lagos, Rilwanu Akiolu I, at his palace. Baru called on all traditional rulers and members of their various communities to secure and protect national oil and gas facilities in their areas. He also appealed to all pipeline vandals to stop their unpatriotic acts, saying they should give peace a chance to reign in the country. A federal high court in Abuja has adjourned the trial of the former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasiku till October 21st. The trial was adjourned on Thursday following the failure of the Nigerian government to produce the defendant in court. This will be the 5th time the government has failed to produce the former National Security Advisor in court for his trial. At the resumed hearing on Thursday, counsel to the government, Rotimi Jacobs, admitted that he was surprised that Dasuki had failed to show up for the trial. A bill seeking gender equality has passed second reading at the Nigerian Senate. Abiodun Olujimi, a senator from Ekiti South, reintroduced the bill after it was rejected in October 2015, when some members opposed it on the grounds that it was in conflict with their religious and cultural beliefs. Speaking on the bill on Thursday, Olujimi explained that the bill did not seek to undermine the beliefs of the Nigerian people, but it was to create equal opportunities for women in the country. After a brief debate on the bill, Senate President Bukola Saraki called on a voice vote, and the Senate voted overwhelmingly for it to be passed to second reading. Thereafter, Saraki referred the bill to the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters for more legislative treatment. The House of Representatives has suspended former chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation, Abdulmumun Jibrin, for 180 sitting days. Jibrin is a lawmaker from Kano State at the center of the unfolding budget padding scandal. He was suspended for allegedly breaching the practices and precedents of the House of Representatives. According to the House, Jibrin is also required to tender a formal written apology to the House before his future resumption of duties. He's also barred from positions of authority in the House till the end of the 8th Assembly. His suspension followed a motion recommended by the House Ethics Committee Chairman Nicholas Osai and adopted by the entire House. Now, following his suspension by the House of Representatives, Abdulmumun Jibrin has said he would seek redress in a court of law. The lawmaker remained defiant, saying he had done nothing wrong and as such will not apologize for his actions. Jibrin had failed to appear before the Ethics Committee after being invited by the panel. He accused top members of the House, including its Speaker Yakubu Dogara, of padding the 2016 budget with fictitious projects running into billions of naira. The Nigerian army has said troops of Operation Lafia Dole have killed 9 suspected terrorists in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. Sani Usman, who is the acting director of Army Public Relations, said that the troops had also wounded several others in the fight, which lasted for about an hour. Usman said 2 AK-47 rifles, 2 hand grenades, 1 improvised explosive device, 5 jerrycans of fuel and 9 motorcycles were recovered from the Boko Haram terrorists. The Nigerian army says it will launch another offensive approach to rescue all abducted persons irrespective of their locations in the country. Codenamed Operation Rescue Final, the operation is aimed at ensuring that kidnapped people are rescued in the shortest possible time. Chief of Army Staff confirmed the creation of the operation on Wednesday when the House of Representatives Committee on Army, led by its chairman, paid him a visit in Abuja. On his part, the chairman recommended the Nigerian army for the motivation to fight even in the face of obvious poor infrastructure facilities in the barracks and formations visited.
I want to announce here for the first time that our next operation, which will soon come on board, is Operation Rescue Final. This Operation Rescue Final is aimed at freeing or rescuing all abducted persons. And this, we intend to commence preparation. And once we start, we won't relent until we make sure that everybody is rescued. This is our target, and we must be deliberate. And on this regard, I request the Honorable House to give us the support to ensure that this succeeds. And I want to tell you, Honorable Chairman, that the Nigerian Army rules of engagement, first and foremost, is about protection of human rights. And this is derived from our Constitution, our constitutional responsibility to defend Nigeria from external aggression and indeed to defend her integrity as well. Therefore, whatever we do is never deliberate, and we want to assure you that we conform to the rules of engagement and in the best interest of Nigerians.
We are also aware that in discharge of their responsibilities, the Army has been accused of violation of human rights. At the interaction we had with the House of Commons in the UK early this year, this issue was brought up by several persons, including very senior members of the House of Commons and the House of Lords that interacted with us. We agreed at that meeting in UK, and we are working with other parliaments to further discuss the challenges security forces in the region are facing, with the view of the fact that the definition of enemies has changed, and as well as the tactics and strategies of such groups are usually not conventional. And so we hope that the appropriate legislation should be updated to meet the current challenges to protect the people, as well as provide the enabling environment for security forces to operate freely.
A federal high court in Abuja has adjourned the alleged forgery case against Senate President Bukola Saraki and his deputy Kekwe Madu till October 7th. The case was adjourned following a request by the counsel to the Nigerian government. The prosecuting counsel had claimed they were not prepared for the case and needed more time to prepare. Meanwhile, the defense counsels have also asked the judge to quash the allegations brought against their clients by the federal government. The two Senate leaders are facing trial alongside a former clerk of the National Assembly, Salisu Maikasua, and his deputy, Benedict Efeturi. The principal officers are accused of illegally altering the Senate standing rules used in electing leaders and inaugurating the Oba Legislative Chamber. Lai Mohammed, Minister of Information and Culture, says the federal government has not yet come out with its position on bailing out the Nigerian economy. Speaking with journalists at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja, Mohammed said that reports of planned asset sale by the government were mere speculations. He said that the government had not taken a decision to sell national assets, despite a recommendation of the National Economic Council. Nigeria is currently in a recession, and the Senate has rejected calls for the government to sell off some of the country's assets in order to grow the economy away from recession. We'll take a quick break. When we'll come back, we'll look at business and sports stories. Don't go away.
Corruption not in my country.
Mr. John! Mr. John! What is it now?
What is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. Eh? What's wrong with you? Is there another person complaining?
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. Remember, I paid my husband too.
You will not understand why we are complaining because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you, and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption not in my country. We know. Go to your bank.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. The Nigerian Naira plunged further to a new record low on Thursday, down 1.76% against the US dollar on the parallel market, even as dollar supplies continue to dry up. The local currency fell to 4.72 to the dollar on the black market, though the Naira closed at 305 to the dollar on the official interbank market, against 305 a dollar the previous day. Traders say dollar liquidity remains a major challenge in Nigeria's currency market. A tourism expert in Nigeria, Austin George, has urged the Nigerian government to tap into the huge tourism potential in the country. George said tourism could help the country generate a huge amount of revenue, but only if the government took things more seriously. He urged the government to formulate tourism-friendly policies which would help attract tourists and investors into the country.
When you're doing tourism, government has to identify locations where tourism destinations are located. You have an education for the indigenes of that place, because they are the ones any tourist would ask questions. First of all, there must be the government willingness. I'm not talking about enabling environment now. Government has to create that encouragement. Government has to come up with a direction, policies that can encourage individuals and entrepreneurs to want to go into this. And that's why it's quite laughable when I see government officials asking somebody to come to Nigeria and invest. But they've not even checked our immigration policy yet. We live in a country where we don't have a tourist visa. And yet, we want to talk about tourism. Nigeria does not have a tourist visa. Investors in Nigeria do not have residence permits. I can go to the US today with $1 million and I'll get a green card within a short time. You go to Canada with $200,000, you get your residency almost immediately. Here in Nigeria, you can have a factory employing 600 staff, and all you keep getting is an annual renewable SEPAC. And that's why would any investor want to invest where he's not sure of his own residency? It's one of the things, the directions government has to first look into. Why would I want to establish in a country where my stay is not guaranteed? We have this mentality when we set up any tourism franchise or business. We always think of the foreigners. Oyinbos will come. What Oyinbos are coming? What we really need to grow in this country is the domestic tourism. That's what has helped South Africa. Domestic tourism, your people to visit your things. You have too many Nigerians already in Nigeria with over 150 million people. All you need is just 5,000 visitors. And you'll be okay. But you keep waiting for the white man. There's something set up now around Moe, and you're charging 15,000 naira per person. Are we really ready? Are we really serious about tourism? What exactly are we looking at to call tourism? They are all around us. Even our Molue is a source of tourism. You'll be shocked how many people who want to visit Nigeria, they want to go to Lagos because they want to see Molue. With all the negative effects, is why they want to visit. They want to see Molue. So these are some of the things we need to look at, and then government has to really create certain awareness for people to actually look at that what is in your backyard could actually be something of great potential.
Oil futures retreated on Thursday as the market grew more skeptical on how OPEC would implement a plan to curb oil output. This comes a day after the group agreed to limit production. Brent crude had fallen 17 cents to $48.52 per barrel, while U.S. crude dropped 4 cents to $47.01 per barrel. OPEC said each member's output cuts will be decided at its next formal meeting in November this year, when an invitation to join the deal could also be extended to other producers such as Russia. Energy experts estimate that the net effect of the production cuts would be around 400,000 barrels per day, as output from Nigeria and Libya remained uncertain. At least one person has been killed and dozens injured after a commuter train crashed into a railway station in the U.S. state of New Jersey. The train reportedly went through ticket barriers and into the reception area of the Hoboken station. Images show extensive damage to the train carriages and the station, with part of the building roof caved in. A huge emergency services operation swung into action following the crash, with firefighters and transport staff helping people from the wrecked carriages. Amnesty International has accused Sudan's government of carrying out at least 30 likely chemical weapon attacks in the Jebel Mara area of Darfur. The international group said the attacks were carried out since January. It says it compiled its findings using what two experts concluded was a probable blister agent. The rights group estimated that up to 250 people may have died as a result of exposure to the chemical weapons agent. The most recent attack occurred on September 9th, and Amnesty said its investigation was based on satellite imagery, more than 200 interviews, and expert analysis of images showing injuries. Moving on to sports stories now, the Nigerian Football Federation has dismissed a report stating that it cannot fly the Super Eagles to Zambia for the World Cup qualifier. It described the report as falsehood. The NFF officials who reacted on Wednesday via several channels, including Twitter, said they were disappointed by the reports credited to anonymous officials, suggesting that the Federation could not take the national team to Zambia because of the recession. The Eagles were paired with Zambia, Cameroon and Algeria in Group B of the tournament. The team will start its campaign with the game away to Zambia on October 9, 2016 and finish away to Algeria on November 7, 2017. Only the top team will qualify from the group. The league management company has announced that the winners of the 2015-2016 Nigerian Professional Football League will be rewarded with the sum of 40 million naira. The amount represents a 10 million naira increase from the 30 million naira awarded to last year's champions, Eyimba. Enugu Rangers are just 1 point away from an historic achievement after defeating relegated side Ikorodu United. The Enugu-based side will secure their first title in 30 years if they get a point in their final game against El Kanemi Warriors. They are currently on 60 points, which is 3 points ahead of Rivers United, who have just 57 points with just 1 game to play. The fallout from the Daily Telegraph's probe into the corruption in football continued on Thursday when Barnsley suspended assistant manager Tommy Wright, while QPR manager Jimmy Floyd and Hasselbank and Leeds owner Massimo Cellino were named by the newspaper. This comes barely a day after England manager Sam Allardyce was sacked after he was filmed collecting bribes from the people who said they were undercover. QPR manager Hasselbank is allegedly seen discussing a 55,000 euros fee to work for an agency wanting to sell players to the London club, while Leeds owner Cellino allegedly held a meeting with the undercover reporters, which he discussed a way that his club could get around Football Association rules on third-party ownership of players. All clubs have said they will launch an internal investigation into the matter. Well, that's all we have for now. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Thelma Ukuru.